everyone, I am Dr. Vishal Rajput from Himalayan School of Biosciences in Swami Rama Himalayan University, Dehradun. And this lecture is going to be the 8th lecture of this module named as Biogeochemical Cycles. This lecture will be focused on the rocks or the cycling of the rocks in the environment. Basically, uncountable rocks are present in surrounding from different shapes and size. Rocks never remain the same and they are always changing with the time. The rock cycle is basic concept in geology that describes the time consuming transition through the geological time. You must be aware about the formation or the structure or the appearance of the rock, and moreover in a fraction or the duration of 5 years or 10 years you cannot observe any remarkable or noticeable change in the shape or the size of the rocks, but gradually at a very slow pace it takes place and it continuously takes place. A rock cycle is a fundamental concept that shows the transition among the three basic types of the rocks known as metamorphic, igneous and the sedimentary. In simple terms, it is in a chain of processes that produce and transform the rock types in the earth crust. So basically, as I have already mentioned, that three types of rocks are present, that metamorphic, igneous and the sedimentary. And what they do, they keep changing from one to another. Rocks are constantly being recycled and going through several processes of chemical and physical changes. Three main types of, as I have already mentioned, sedimentary, metamorphic, air and igneous. Rocks are altered or destroyed when it is forced out of its equilibrium condition. This cycle of rocks formation and wearing out it's constantly recycled the earth's mineral. The rock cycle is nothing but a process by which rocks of one type with certain characteristics change into the rocks of another kind. As I have already told that three types of rocks are present, and what they do, they keep changing their one form to another form, and this is how they are keep adding a contribution towards the different biogeochemical cycles or the cycling of the minerals. Now this is the pictorial representation of rock cycle. Here three major part are metamorphic rocks, sedimentary rocks and the igneous rock. Here you can see they all are interconnected by different processes, such as magma, when it cools down it converts into the igneous rock. Moreover, the metamorphic rocks, when they go for the process of the melting due to the high temperature, they converts into the magma. Later on, if igneous rocks, they go for the melting process, they may convert into the magma, and this process will continue after the cooling. Moreover, if the igneous rocks are being treated with high temperature and pressure, they may convert into the metamorphic rocks. Further, igneous rocks, they may convert into the sediment due to the process of the weathering as well as the erosion. Same thing happens with the metamorphic rocks. What it is doing, due to the help of the weathering and erosion, metamorphic rocks can also convert into the sediment. So you can see they all are interconnected. Furthermore, if sediments are being compacted and cementing with the help of certain factors, they may convert into the sedimentary rock. And these sedimentary rocks then, if further treated with the help of the high temperature and pressure, they may convert into the metamorphic rocks. So this whole process is moving in a cyclic form. There is one more point which is based on the sedimentary rock. If the sedimentary rock will start weathering or erosion, they may convert into the sediment process. So here you can see these all rocks are interconnected and they can form or they can convert from one form to another. if certain required properties or conditions are available. Basically, it's heat, pressure, melting and erosion. These 4 or 5 activities, they can change the form of the rock from one form to another form. So all the rocks, they come under the category of these particular rocks, and what they do, they keep changing from one form to another form. Further, rock cycles. Basically, it's a transition to igneous. When the rocks are pushed deep under the Earth's surface, they may melt into the magma. And if the condition no longer exists for the magma to stay in its liquid state, it will solidify into an igneous rock. Next is transition to metamorphic. The rock exposed to high temperatures and pressure may be changed physically or chemically to form a different rock. This kind of rocks are called as the metamorphic rocks. Then transition to sedimentary stage. Rocks exposed to the atmosphere are very unstable and subject to the process of weathering and erosion. This process breaks the original rock down into smaller fragments and carries away dissolved material. So sedimentary rocks form from the deposits and accumulates on the earth surface. Basically, you can understand the meaning of the sedimentation. In sedimentation, heavy parts of the any element, they get suspended or settled due to the help of the gravity, and lighter part, they get separated with the help, because gravity does not apply on those lighter animal with that much intensity. So what happens, certain part becomes sediment. Here the similar process is taking place. Now, importance, why it is important? Helping in the formation of soil, thus sustaining every life forms on the earth. We are dependent on the plants, producers, and producers dependent on the earth or the soil. So formation of soil is highly dependent on the rocks. Further, forming life sustaining materials such as sodium, iron, potassium and calcium into the biosphere. That means these are being added with the help of the rocks. Forming the energy reserve of the earth like fossil fuels and radioactive sources. Next is providing the building material used to build structures such as iron, limestone, marbles, granite and basalt. These all are important for the smooth functioning of the ecosystem. Providing raw materials for currency, investment and adornment such as gold, diamond, rubies and emerald. It is another part of this particular rock system, rock cycle, because these all are the rocks and they are associated with this particular cycle. Now further, we'll talk about how the human activities are impacting the rock cycles. The most important thing, consumption rate. Well, overuse of any particular rock type can create a vacuum in the rock system or the rock cycle, which will ultimately result in the less formation of the next step of the rocks. Moreover, overuse. The rock will need to be replaced before cycling can continue. If there is a missing step in the rock cycle, in order for what that type of rock to transform into the next one, it would take double the amount of the time. So ultimately it will slow the process of the or lower the process of the rock cycle. Next is limitation or the replenishment. The consumption rate of human use of a rock is faster than the recovery rate of the rock cycle, which is also creating a vacuum in the process of the rock cycle, as human is consuming a huge amount of the rock as compared they are being confirmed or the converted. The next major human activity which is affecting the rock cycle is mining. Mining is the process of breaking through the rocks to obtain rocks themselves or to get metal inside of them, like gold, silver, aluminium. There are lots of. And what they are doing, they are changing the essence of particular rock cycle. Moreover, they are affecting the rate of replenishment. What we have do, we have used used up a lot of resources on earth, since many inventions we have today need those metals. Since 1977, we have used almost 5 million tons of zinc and 1 million ton of lead. It is inevitable that humans will continue to mine lead, since things like battery, ammunitions, and other requirement need this particular element. And what we are doing, we are creating a huge gap between the conversion as well as the utilization. So these all things are adversely affecting the movement of the rock cycle. Next is acid mine drainage, which is also known as the AMD. Now, due to the excessive mining, there has also been an increase in chemical weathering rate in areas of mine landscape. There is also acid one drainage AMD produced when water comes in contact with exposed rocks containing sulfur bearing minerals, and that react with water and air, and it is forming the sulfuric acid. And ultimately, this sudden influx of sulfuric acid is increasing the pH of the environment and creating the acidic environment to the system. And acidic environment is not suitable for the growth of the plants as well as the human or the organism. So what we must should do, we must uh, uh, control the use of the rocks so that they can pace up with our demands as well as the utility. So rock cycle must be conserved and protected, especially by the humans.